Dane Brugler, NFL draft analyst of The Athletic, released a 7-round mock draft, which means he has full mock drafts for all 32 NFL teams. We'll obviously talk about what the Patriots did in this mock on today's episode. I'm Harrison Graham from Chat Sports. And listen, we're going to break down Brugler's mock today, but do you want a brand new mock draft from us here at Patriots Today? If you do, type me down in the comment section down below. If we get 40 plus me's on this video, we'll go ahead and crank one out on a video soon. Okay, Brugler has the Patriots doing what we want, aka he knows ball. Drake Maye, the quarterback out of North Carolina. Seems like there could be more building toward this. I think a big component of that is the fact that it does appear that Jaden Daniels is going to go number 2 to Washington, although I don't think that's completely set in stone, but a lot of buzz there as well. Again, you know, there's only so many ways I can tell you guys this would be my preference. I told you what he brings to the table, the pros, the cons, the arm strength, the upside. Is the floor a little bit lower than a guy like Daniels? Yeah, it probably is, but I think the tools are there, and if he's coached and developed properly and you give him time, he could become a force in this league. I love the value at number 3 overall for Drake Maye. Kingsley Suamataia, the offensive tackle out of BYU. And speaking of Brugler, I was listening to him on a podcast the other day, and he said it could be a record of how many tackles go in the first round. Suamataia could even sneak in there, but I think round 2 is more proper for him. I think he's got him as 40th overall prospect. Could Suamataia be the answer? Jordan Reed of ESPN linked Suamataia to New England, and now Brugler has done that as well by mocking him to the Patriots in his latest mock. Obviously, I think it's probably a slight project here. He's not, as polished as some of the top 4 or 5 tackles in this class, but the traits are there. He's got everything you want. He's got the size, the power, the athleticism. If he can clean some things up, he could be the answer. I'd be curious to see if he is the pick. Do you just plug and play and start him day one and just let him take his lumps at left tackle? Do you put Okorafor over there and McDermott at left tackle and kind of give him time to develop? I'd be very curious to see what the approach was there. And look, I think part of that would be too is who's the week 1 quarterback. If it is a rookie in Drake Maye, maybe you'd opt with a veteran tackle just to feel a little bit more comfortable. If it was a Jacoby Brissett, maybe you'd throw him out there just to get him those reps. That'd be interesting to see that dynamic unfold. But if it does happen, we'll of course be exploring that as well. Subscribe to the channel. We are your hub for Patriots draft news, rumors, more mocks if we have time to get to them. Again, type me if you want another one. But hit the subscribe button. We will continue to keep you guys in the loop as we are just 8 days away from the NFL draft. All right, round 3, pick number 68. You check another box here based on needs. Malachi Corley, the wide receiver out of Western Kentucky, and he's an interesting player. I mean, he's been comped to guys like Deebo Samuel with his ability after the catch and, maybe not being the most refined route runner, but he is an exciting player. He's a guy you get the ball in space and let him go to work. He could do some kick return duties for you too, and with the new kickoff rule, maybe that boosts his stock by half a round or so. We'll have to wait and see. Look at his RAS. Good, not great, but a lot of that is, he's a little undersized height-wise, but the weight is there. The testing was still in the good category. He's not going to be a 4.35 guy, but he's kind of a bruising player like a Deebo Samuel. Like, he's almost built more like a running back playing receiver. You could line him up in the backfield, I think, if you wanted to, and throw toss sweeps to him and stuff like that. So I'd be curious to see what he would bring to the table, what the plan would be. And look, in terms of you need to go get that guy to really elevate the wide receiver room, I don't think that's really Corley. I think you view this as more of he's just a weapon. Like, hey, go be a return specialist. We'll throw you jet sweeps, screens, get you the ball in space. Like, this guy's not going to run the full route tree. He's not drawing double teams, nothing like that. But he's a guy that can give you some yak and do some exciting things for you. Who is your favorite wide receiver target on day 2? Like, get beyond the Rome Odunzes, the Marvin Harrisons of the world, the Malik Neighbors, even the Adonai Mitchells and Brian Thomas. Like, after that grouping, who do you like best on day 2, whether it's for pick 34, pick number 68? Drop a name or multiple names in the comment section below. Round 4, pick 103, a guy who's gained a lot of steam recently. Jalix Hunt, the edge out of Houston Christian, I believe. He has just completely come out of nowhere as he was a former safety. They turned him into an edge, which that's quite the position change, by the way. But he's been productive the last 2 years. 6.5 sacks last year, 7 the year before. He's certainly raw, but he's very athletic. And teams always fall in love with guys like this. They just have these rare traits. A guy who has a history of playing in coverage is now sticking his hand in the dirt and getting after the passer. He's athletic. He's coachable and stuff like that. I think that's something that would appeal to this defensive staff. So, yeah, day 3, you take a freak athlete like this and see if you can hit and develop them. You're banking on good coaching here. So, I wouldn't hate it. And look, the edge group this year is pretty top heavy. You get outside the first round, really, there's a few guys on day 2, but then day 3, you're not going to find guys that you feel like are, day 1 starters or something like that. So go traits here, and hopefully you connect. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. It is the best daily fantasy sports app in North America and the most used with the most traffic, so go check it out. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100 when you sign up today. It gives you a little more breathing room and time to figure out what kind of picks you like. You got the season-long statistical NFL stat projections right now. I like the more in all 3 here. Christian McCaffrey's rushing yards and Patrick Mahomes and C.J. Stroud's passing touchdowns. Take the more across the board there. 10 to win 50. If you're an NBA fan, you got play-in action tonight and on Friday. You also got some NHL playoffs coming up around the corner as well. Check it all out. 2 to 6 player entries. You take more, take less based on the stat projections, and you cash out if you hit. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. Link is in the comments and in the description. It's daily fantasy made easy. Choose more, choose less. Make money. It's Prize Picks. All right, round 5 we go. Satoa Luamia, the interior offensive lineman out of Utah. Look, I'm all for adding, throwing darts at some offensive linemen here, right? Like, you get on day 3, I would not mind if they took a couple and just see if you can find some depth, and maybe a guy turns into a starter. You never know. You look at a Micah Winu, a former 6th-round pick. He just got paid $19 million per year. So there is a history within this organization of doing that recently, certainly like that. You need more here. There's no question. I think you can get by with your starting 5 if you get adequate left tackle play, but if you suffer an injury somewhere, don't love the depth, so you find some depth on day 3. I think that's a pretty good move here for the Patriots. Jaden Crubity, the defensive tackle out of Mississippi State. Another trenches play here, but on the other side of the football. Some decent production here. 2.5 sacks for an interior guy, 22 pressures. You like that. Today's NFL, if you can find interior players that can give you some pressure, that's valuable. Even if it's just a rotation type of player like Crubity probably will be in the NFL, you certainly like to get that because quarterbacks will tell you they'd much rather face pressure from the edge than straight in their face because then they have to make a split-second decision. So wouldn't mind adding a piece like that on day 3. Obviously, still hoping for a Christian Barmore extension, but some depth here would be nice. Bub Means, great name. Round 6, pick number 193. We've talked about doubling down on wide receiver before. Would not surprise to see that happen. And you definitely need to if you're going to take a guy like Corley, who's, again, not really that prototypical receiver, more of just a weapon that you get the ball in space to. Some decent production in college. Louisiana Tech, then transferred to Pitt. Had his best year last year, 18 yards a catch. You love that. 6 touchdowns in those 12 games. He's played a good amount of football here. And there are reports out there that the Patriots have had a lot of interest here in bringing him in as a later round pick. So keep an eye on Bub Memes as the draft is getting closer and closer. And then a player I'm fairly familiar with out of my alma mater, safety Mark Perry out of TCU. He's going to be an interesting player in the NFL. I'll be curious to see how teams view him. I don't think he's fast enough to be like a cover safety. I think he's like a safety nickel, small linebacker hybrid. He's a good athlete, tested well. He Had a strong week at the Shrine Bowl, which kind of got him on the draft radar. I did not expect him to be a guy that could get drafted, but he might sneak in there after a strong pre-draft process. He'll play special teams, so certainly looking for that versatility late in the draft. All right, there you have it. Grade this Patriots mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. How do you think Dane Brugler did on this one? I mean, look, I would rather get a prototypical wide receiver than Corley, but you add a quarterback, tackle, and wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. You can't really argue with that, as those are the clear needs for this team. And at the end of the day, if you get the quarterback you like and he hits, it's going to end up being a good draft. And I like Trey, man. I do think he'll hit. So I like this draft by Brugler. Drop a letter grade down in the comments, and be sure to subscribe, as we will be back soon with more Patriots content.